To the Color of Cashflow podcast.
Yeah, it's been a great week. I'm gonna say great. I wanted to say long, but it's been a great week, especially after Invest Fest.
Invest Fest 2023, hands down, best moment of the year so far.
So far, I mean, the year's almost over though. Like,
yeah,
it is. We are in September now. So
yeah.
September, October, November. Dang.
Yeah, I know.
2023 is gonna be over with.
But I feel like they actually, at first I was like, why would they do it at that time? Like, school has gone back. It's like chaos. But I feel like it's perfect timing. I actually feel like it gets you at the right before the last quarter of the year for you to be able to like finish strong and build into your next year.
Get you some confidence in there.
Yeah.
I did, because going there, coming back, I came home and I'm like, I've got a million things I've got to do. I've got to change. I've got to do, especially listening to Robert Smith. I'm like, okay, I mean, I know he's a 100 billionaire, trillionaire, zillionaire, but dude has some of the most simple, basic things that made me be like, I didn't think a billionaire would say those things. Like, I was listening to other people like, oh, you want to network and you want to do all these great sayings, but he was like, no,
Keep
good habits. Yep. Good habits. Be consistent in those habits. Be disciplined in those habits. It'll take you a lot of places.
Number one, his part was the best part of the whole thing. I have re-listened to
the
audio. I know, to keep us there.
Send me the audio.
I thought I sent y'all the audio in the group. I didn't send the audio.
I don't know.
In the group.
I'll have to check. Maybe you did. I'll have to check.
Okay. If I didn't, I'll send it in the group. But I've listened to it 2 more times and I was like, when did he say that? It was just so much. I was like, these nuggets were coming in at a pace that I couldn't even receive. Like, there's no way that I would ever like talk with him and not record it. I don't care what they said. No recording. Remember the guy?
So I seen on this past week, seen on Instagram, somebody, I can't remember who it was, talking about Robert Smith when he paid for the what was it? Not the tuition, but the
loans.
He paid off all the loans and stuff, their debt. Like 340 students, right? And so one of those conditions of that was that they meet with him once a month. On a Zoom call or something like that, once a month. Yeah. Every Thursday or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And just to talk and ask them questions about, life, what they need to do, entrepreneurship, all that, right?
Yeah.
300-400 students, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like 400.
They said that only 40 to 80 students, or at least that's what Robert Smith was saying, that only 40 to 80 students would show up to those meetings. Out of 300, 400 students, that blows my mind.
Those other 360. How do you, first of all, the disrespect from somebody paying off your
Big
loans
time.
And your parents plus loans, because
show up
really
just because he paid it off.
Exactly. Just because you're debt free, just because you can buy a home and not have student loans hold you back, just because that's not affecting your debt to income ratio, just because of all those things, you show up.
Just be there. Just let your name pop up on the Zoom. Like, even if you don't want to listen, you got it on mute.
Record it and send it to me. Do something.
I mean, switch spots. They won't even know that I'll use your name.
Zoom code. Hello?
Right.
Like, I'll do what I gotta do. I'm from
Johnny.
Morehouse. I'll do what I have to do, because there's no way I would pass that up.
No possible
Just
way.
in the way, in an hour, I missed stuff twice that I've listened to it again and heard new stuff. I would have to record all of our Zoom calls. That
whole recording was an hour. Like, Investors, he talked for like an hour.
Just an hour, yeah.
So I'm sure the calls on Zoom or whatever, it can't be more than an hour, because he can't spend that kind of time
No.
But that 1 hour probably changes the whole game for everybody.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I seen it. I don't even know who it was that posted it, but it blew my mind. I'm thinking it's true. I don't know if it is true or not, but that's what I seen, and I was just like, if it is true,
you're one of the 400 students, and you're not on that call, we got beef. We got absolute 100% beef. Like, I don't care what you say about me, your mama, but we got beef if you're not on that call. Everything he had to say was just gems. How in touch he is with the community, our black community, our healthcare, our systems, what we need to do.
I agree.
Like, his whole plan, like Robert Smith for president.
I vote for him.
I'm just saying, if you're not on that call and you're debt free and you don't have no Parent Plus loans, we got beef. We absolutely got beef.
Anyway, I don't want to harp on it. It just blew my mind. Like, this can't possibly be true. Not the same Robert Smith I seen in investment.
Not Uncle Rob.
That's it. Uncle Rob, not Uncle Rob. But anyway,
not doing my boy like
I guess
that.
Other than that, what did you like about InvestFest Atlanta? I don't know, just whatever, the trip as a whole.
I mean,
Oh,
one thing.
I forgot. Oh my gosh, y'all! Her obsession with Terica is, I don't know. I don't even know.
I'm not saying I'm gonna pop up in the bushes or anything, but like I might show up on her work site and pretend to be a contractor.
Security.
I feel like she drops nuggets just like he does, but like effortless nuggets, like unplanned nuggets, and she's just saying stuff, and it's just immediate motivation and like instant conviction when she speaks, like, and she's so on target with what she's been doing. And I know people like, man, she really blew up, but it's like she ain't been doing this for 2 or 3 years. She been doing this in the teens of years. Like this has been a long time coming. Like she's been slowly growing, but building an empire. And everybody just sees that instant that the light comes on, but they don't see all the work that went on in the dark. And like I've been watching her and she wasn't there, but I think her name was like Benatia or something, like the first Black Afro-Latino owned bank. Oh, so she's in Dallas.
Okay, so
and she goes to Atlanta all the time, and she's done stuff with them, but she wasn't there. But those two, I've been watching her since she was just a realtor.
See,
and now she owns a bank. Like that's.
But then you start listening to everybody, like even Trap, Wall Street Trap, like he's coming to Dallas. But I remember just watching his videos, and it was just basic videos of him talking about the stock market and stuff like that. Now this dude's got a whole different setup, and I guess the whole point is like, if you are just starting out in whatever it is that you're doing, things can turn around so easily and so quickly. That
was one of the big things for me, is just watching these people's progression. Just watching their progression, like her whole Monopoly thing, she's been doing that for like 3 years, like at InvestFest. And this year is big. Like the first year she was like selling the book or the game or whatever, but like it's blown up so much now. So definitely just watching these people like actually bring their dreams and everything into fruition and watching them grow, like that was huge, like to see them in person and to see them doing those things. And not just Terica, Charmaine from Females Who Flip, like
Yeah, you throwing those other names in there, but you was like fanboying, like it was like
I was definitely on fan.
I'm gonna have to post some of the footage, y'all. Like you got to see them. Hey, she was just giddy, and I'm just like, I love Terica too, but she was like, no, y'all don't know. I know Terica, like, but it was friends.
Cool. She's not sure of it yet. This will be funny in a couple years when we work together, but we're like, friends.
What? And we're going to save the videos, and just be like, yo, remember this picture? Like, you remember me?
She out of those 700 people that I took a picture with? Probably not. Yeah, but of course. I felt like it was special.
It was. I'm like, not to downplay the whole weekend of Atlanta and InvestFest, because they had like Jackson State there. They had the AKAs, like everybody. It was a whole vibe that weekend. Was. And I even came home and I posted on Facebook. I was like, "Yo, I need like 10 people coming with me next year." Like, you got to feel this. You got to feel the atmosphere. You got to feel the whole speakers.
Wakanda, like we here.
Calling it like it was like Wakanda. Like it was just a natural, fun weekend, and InvestFest was like just a good nugget or a part of that made it even more special. So
to just be amongst thousands, 20,000, specifically Black people who are looking to grow in every area of their life was just a phenomenal feeling. It was an energy that you can't compare to anything else. I'm looking forward to 2024. And like, I'd feel guilty going to the next one if I haven't taken some steps like in my personal life. Like just in the week that we left,
I was just gonna say,
I've done so much. Like I read a whole book. I haven't had time to read a book. Okay, I read one book this whole year. One book. I read a book. But I read my second book last week.
In 1 weekend, you finished it?
Yes.
See,
I'm done.
See? And I'm telling you, I was just going to say, when I came back, I was just lit on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to be sustainable. and I'm looking to see how I'm going to perform in this next week and this next month into the end of the year.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't want it just to be like we just 1 week thing and now my fire's put out. But hey, that first week, if that's what came from InvestFest, I accomplished a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll take that just that 1 week. Like it's done so much, and even like as far as my business, like when you project that same energy out and how you're talking to people and people that you're speaking with, like I, in the last week, have gotten referrals for 3 more buyers, and I have a new listing. But I haven't had that in the last 6 months because I haven't had that energy and that motivation, like that level of conviction from every speaker. Like I have not had that. So like my business is on another level. Like how intentional I am with Andrew is on another level because, this has been paired up with the same series at my church about parenting and how we're supposed to be going about doing that. And I've been feeling convicted on that end too. So I've been feeling lazy in my business and lazy at home. But like after InvestFest, I'm like, nope, I got to take it to another level. And I have to be at that level and performing at that level for everything.
So my question to you is, how are you going to take that feeling from InvestFest, from that weekend? I feel like you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I do.
How are you going to take that and allow that to be something that is spread over the weeks and the months to come into next year when we go to InvestFest thing? Like how, for me, I'm not sure what the next thing is to just keep me going. Like I know you got to be consistent and disciplined in those small habits, like Robert Smith said. But I'm saying, like, what do you feel like you're going to need to do to keep that fire lit, to keep going once InvestFest is a month or past, 2 months past, that kind of thing?
So to be honest, I think for me is going to be staying in my literature and making sure I keep reading. Because so what I reread was Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? It started from the beginning. And I was like, no, I missed some stuff because I finished the book and I'm still poor. So I missed something. There was something in there and I didn't get it.
Gotta be.
But you know what? Just like Uncle Rob, I got to the last 2 chapters and I was like, was this in here before? Did they add these pages to my book? Like they
3rd edition. Like it's got to be something added.
What is this? So I got to the end and I was like, that's so true. I read all of this before and it didn't hit me with the same conviction. And a part of it was that like a lot of people read and know a whole lot about finance, but they still don't have the courage to take the risk. And the one thing that he did is keep making moves and keep making moves in real estate, no matter how it was. And I was like, well, I'm at a crossroads because, I need 2 years of showing sufficient income now that I'm a business owner only, no salary, this and that. And he talks about the same thing. And apparently I missed that first time around where he just started asking the sellers to do seller financing. I'm talking about I sent 1 email and the guy was like, how much are you willing to put down? And I was like, Sabrina, that's so lazy. How did you miss that? How did you miss that? Yes. So like there's so much opportunity out there. And if you're not pushing yourself to go after and finding a way, you're going to miss that. And for me, it's going to be staying in my education and making sure. So I'm at the power of 0. So I'm going through that. Like that's
revisiting all the books.
I'm revisiting because there's stuff in there that I missed the first time around. But there's so many other books that I've already added and purchased. And I'm not an audiobooks person. Like I want to be, but I can't.
I fight audiobook people. I do because I'll ask them, and this is why, because audiobook people make you feel little.
They do,
and it's like
I had 74 books this week. You didn't listen. I listened to 74 songs.
They're like, yo, I read 73 books this year, and I'm just like, dang, really? Like, God, bro, it's on audio. You do that little.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's not the same.
I mean, some people, they retain info.
I'm definitely an audio learner, right? Like I did my whole real estate course. I did audio only. Like I listened to it while like driving around and doing stuff. And I passed the test on the first time around. So I get it. But somehow reading a book is different.
Reading, highlighting, noting, all that kind of stuff.
It's different.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I beef with them like Crips and Bloods or something. Like it's just like, come on now, 76 books, 330 books. Like, nah, I'm only on my 3rd one. And
touch these pages.
touch these.
It's not the same. It is not the same. And I'm even like I can do like reading on my phone. Like I can do that. But like the audio, to me, I'm not counting that as reading a book.
It's not that I don't do it. Like I still listen to audiobooks. I just don't count. I don't count them as once you're done like that.
No, that was like listening to E.T.'s motivational speech on YouTube. Like it was just. It was.
Did I really create that speech? No, you didn't. I listened to 100 songs. I didn't write those songs. It's no comparison to me.
Exactly.
But I'm sure there's people out there like, no, it counts.
I get that. I just, for me, I have to touch the pages, or I have to like be looking at the words for me to count it as a book that's read. Like I'm at my Power of Zero. I've got so many other ones to read. I want to do another one on like this empire of like building up Section 8 housing. And first I was like, I don't want to feed into this Section 8 housing. It's not good to say, right?
Why?
So I initially disliked Section 8 housing because I feel like it was built not to support us, and then when we got a hold of it, they used it to cripple us. And I say that because we get locked into that system, and people be so afraid to go learn a new skill or take a higher paying job because they're going to lose the voucher.
Man.
But the goal is to lose the voucher. The goal is to do so well that you don't need a crutch. Like, the goal is to crawl for so long that you eventually start pulling yourself up and walking. And it might get tight, but you're going to learn stuff along the way. Those are tools for you to be successful in the future. I get it. People come out of terrible divorces. People come out of terrible situations. Life happens. I totally get that. And there are people who need the voucher. But there are also people who've had the voucher that handed down from their great-great-grandmother.
If anything was passed down,
and that's all they were passing down. It's a 3-bedroom voucher.
I seen a post on Facebook. Somebody posted, it was like, can all y'all who've been on welfare for 20-something years get off so we can have a turn? Like,
it's not fair.
I laughing like, come on now.
It's not fair. Like, some people have had it for so long that they're keeping people out of it who truly need it. And I'm like, well, I need it too. You don't. Because let me tell you what's included in that Section 8 program. There's education that's included. And a lot of that education, so I was speaking with a lady because I wanted to know more. She called me and she's like, please find investors who are willing to buy and lease out to Section 8 because we have so many vouchers and we can't get people in. And so I just kept talking to her and I was like, so what is it in the program that keeps them on there? And she said, we have added so many programs over the last couple of years and people don't use them. They have a coding program that's 100% free. And when you're done, you can get a Microsoft, you can get a Linux, or you can get the AWS certificate. And that job will start out at $60,000. But you're so afraid of losing your voucher that you rather stay under $35,000 a year in income that you won't do the free certificate and get 60.
Is there not rules?
There's no rules.
I'm just like, so are you not getting? I don't know much about Section 8, so I'm thinking to myself, are you not getting past through the system of, all right, you have to meet these, requirements or whatever it is, and if you don't meet them,
be broke. That's literally it.
That's the one requirement.
If you can still earn under this amount, you will still get. It's just like food stamps. As long as you earn under this amount, you qualify. And if you keep having kids, then I can give you an extra bedroom per kid.
Wow.
And I feel like people get it and they be like, hey, I got that voucher, and they won't like truly use it. Like, if you got a voucher, I am not talking down on people who have a voucher, especially the super smart people who use that voucher to buy a house. Because you can use that same Section 8 voucher and get 15 of your 30-year mortgage paid. 15 years of that.
Hold on. Time out.
Now you about to go get a voucher. You about to get on the list.
What's the online? Show me the paperwork. So, are you telling me you get a 30-year mortgage? Like, regular people just get 30 who are not on it. They have to have 30 years. You decide to say, hey, I'm going to buy a house. I'm on Section 8. They cut 15 years of mortgage payments out of
They don't cut them out. They just pay them. For 15 years, you have additional coverage on your mortgage. For 15 years.
How? Hold on. So why are there not more people just buying homes then? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, why would you keep renting or staying on Section 8 when you can just get an actual house that's yours? They pay for half of it. And if you pay at the same time they pay, wouldn't you be kind of done with your payments by year 15 or?
So you don't even have to pay it for the additional 15 years. you can actually pay it for 9 years, paying that extra payment, and your house will be paid off when they're done.
What? Hey, we're gonna cut. We're gonna have to cut. Like, I need to go sign up right now, because to me that's insane for you to have such a discount at a mortgage and you don't even use it at all. Let me tell you
why people won't use it. I talk to people a lot, and I'm telling you, almost every single day somebody calls me from Section 8 or found me on social media, saw my post, because the post about the Section 8 went viral, right? And so people saw that, and a lot of them are contacting me, and I was like, so you still have to go through the process of qualifying for a loan, but somebody is going to pay half of your mortgage. So you still got to have a 620 credit score. Oh, that's doing too much.
Hold on, you said the 620?
620. Like, pay most of your bills on time and have a secured credit card.
Be an adult and you can get a house that's practically paid for.
Yep.
I did not know. Like,
absolutely. And then a lot of states even have the family self-sufficiency program, which is a little bit different than that. What they do is, as you continue to earn more, they allow you to earn more, right? But they cut out of your Section 8 as you're continuing to earn more. And they put you through all the training to get better jobs. Then they stay with you for 5 years until you improve your income. During that 5-year period, every bit of additional rent that you had to pay yourself goes into an escrow account. And then you go to buy a home, and bam, you got down payment and closing costs and inspection fees all included. And this is what they continue. A lot of these programs continue to assist with, like, your utility bills as you move in. Like, they've done everything to set you up for success. We will hold your hand for 5 years and it's actually 5 years and 6 months. We will hold your hands for that long. You can save up money to go into escrow. All we're asking you to do is somehow, in 5.5 years, I need you to get your 200 credit score to a 620. And 620 literally just means you're paying your bills on time.
Just pay your credit card back. Just the basics of being a human adult.
Yes, keep your credit card utilization under 30%.
I'm still blown by the fact that
15
years.
15 years.
15 years to find out it wasn't his.
That sounds like what's going on here.
I guess I don't want to harp on it, and I mean, I know we got other stuff to talk about, but to me, that is insane to have your for some people's mortgage, you probably had that one paid off in less than.
You easily could. So somebody did the presentation and did the math and was like, if they're making the full payment for the first 9 of those years, they can just pay only their portion, their half, for the rest of the 15 years, because it'll be paid off at year 15.
And so, okay, tell me this then. Once you do it, say year 15 rolls around, whatever, year 10, you paid off even more, extra, whatever, and the house is paid off. Is it completely yours? Is it something like inside the contract that's like, yours. Nope. You can't sell it? Or...
So here's the thing, the subsidy is with you.
So then... to me, that's like a springboard into your own investment.
And then, right, they've held you in that program, but because you're in a home that you own, even though they're giving you a subsidy, you open up a voucher for another property for someone else. So another family that actually needs it, that's actually gone through a miserable divorce, that's actually gone through some domestic violence, that actually needs the help, can actually use the voucher.
Versus you trying to stay on because
you don't wanna. Because I'm sorry, I'm her, I'm gonna say it. You're not gonna be out here on year 26 of your voucher, but your hair and nails stay done. But somebody's got to pay half of your rent, and your rent's only $200 a month.
But that's what they do, and then they get on social media and start flexing like, "Ooh, check out my hair and check out my nails," and then they're just kind of like,
"That's such a sorry flex."
You got $100 mortgage.
Exactly. Your rent's $25. Your portion of your rent is $25.
And they're willing to stay on it for as long as they can.
Absolutely. Because they don't want to lose it. And I know, like, a part of that is that same fear that we have when it comes to, like, stepping out and pushing ourselves in our business. They have that fear of, what happens if I have to do this on my own? Like I'm already parenting on my own.
Fear,
I know.
That fear is kind of different. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hold on. I'm scared to actually be an adult versus, I'm scared to put all my money into this business because it might fail or it might, not work out. Those are two very different things.
They are.
I have
but
to be
at the
an
same
adult.
time,
I have to be an
people
investor.
have different fears. And don't get me wrong, like I get it, but I feel like it's such a scam and it keeps us down because the majority of the people on Section 8 at this point are now, especially in DFW, are African Americans. But then, as far as investors go, like you're missing out on, I can't remember the statistic. I need to look it up. Mm-hmm. But I promise you it's something like $60 million a month gets paid out in just DFW to landlords of Section 8.
$60 million?
Yeah. And landlords. And just think about it. There's still 30,000 people on the list waiting. And so as you are able to buy properties, especially if it's already in an area that's like high for Section 8 and all that kind of stuff, like rent it out to Section 8, get that guaranteed income, like why not? I personally have a passion for creating Section 8 income because there are people who need it. And I remember when we needed it. And I remember when that would have been a huge saving grace for us. Mm-hmm. And then at the time, we ended up getting a Habitat for Humanity house. So, those houses, you got to do a little bit of the work yourself, and then you get in on a really great interest rate. Mm-hmm. So we were able to capitalize on something like that. But the goal always being to get off of government assistance.
What you just said in that segment, that blows my mind for real. Like, you can set yourself up, you can set your family up
for the win.
Like, because just think about that. Like, what you're doing is paying not that much in mortgage. Somebody's paying for your mortgage. Mm-hmm. Whatever other money that you've got left over could be going into something else. Insurance could be going into stuff. Like, whatever it is. I'm not saying you got a lot left over or whatnot, but I'm just saying if your rent is
$200 and something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could literally set yourself up. Yes. And your family up, and your future family, your kids, and so on. If you just took advantage of it in the positive or the good way versus trying to do it in the negative way and just stay on there and let people just
forever and plan on dying with it and having nothing literally but that voucher to pass down to your kids.
Now when you start talking about that, like that whole mindset in our community of the fish fry, the GoFundMe, hey, I need somebody to help me pay my grandma's, the whole funeral cost is weighing down on me.
We don't have enough to get her even cremated.
Why is it that you had this whole Section 8 house?
Come on, somebody better preach.
You only had to pay $100 a month. Well, like, why do you not have money for your grandma, or your mama, or somebody like that? Like, I've always hated that about our community.
I
like,
hate that so
What
much.
is it that our community looks at as far as like insurance and stuff like that? Like, why do we look at it like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to be a part of that because that's a scam or that's
exactly. And don't get me wrong, right? Like, I feel like for some insurances, they're a total scam. Yeah, they are a total scam.
But you're using like that one thing or that one time to judge the whole. Almost like people when they talk about church. Oh, I ain't going to church. It's just a bunch of hypocrites. Just because you seen your baby daddy, mama, cousin, say something or do something. Now the whole, to me that just because you seen or heard whatever, you don't stop going to certain grocery stores and restaurants and all that do you wrong.
I'm telling you, Tom Thumb, your days are numbered. So the way my bread keep coming up moldy, and I still keep coming back to support y'all's business.
I haven't been in the Tom Thumb in forever. I've gone to
it's my favorite grocery store out here. So I don't want to say I hate Walmart, but
nobody likes Walmart. There's like this TikTok movement against Walmart. Like,
is it
just about fake food and all that other kind of stuff? Like,
absolutely, because the syrup got gasoline in it, so no joke on that. But something about the ambiance, I just do not enjoy when I walk into a Walmart. I don't know what it is. It could be the chaos. It could be the fact that I have to check myself out. I don't know. But I have been a faithful customer of Tom Thumb's overpriced groceries. And every time I pick up a loaf of bread, it's moldy by the time I get home, and I don't know if there's a transference of moisture between Tom Thumb and my home.
Kroger is an upscale.
It is.
Tom
It is.
Thumb.
But
Like,
it's turning into a Walmart because that clothing section and that electronic section is getting out of control.
That's because they're trying to do too much.
They are trying to do too much.
Just stick with it. Yeah,
go back.
Just stick with what you need to stick with, which is your food and whatnot. But yeah, like it just, I don't know, man. It blows my mind that you could not use the Section 8, you cannot use that in a positive way and get out of your situation. But instead, now you're on, Facebook, hey, go for me. And I'm not talking about, like, I don't need no comments, everybody ain't, all I'm saying, I'm not talking about the people who really need it.
Exactly. Those people need it. Like, I'm never talking about the people who need it. I'm just talking about the scammers.
The scammers.
I'm just here for the flex drivers.
Come on now. Like, for 70 years now, somebody been talking to you about, investing or stocks or
insurance. You haven't come across one job that has overqualified you for your voucher and pay. Not even on accident. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump was a whole president. And I don't know if he applied or somebody just wrote his name in on the ballot. You've never accidentally applied for a job and gotten a job that overqualified you for your Section 8 voucher.
If you're a Trump supporter, never mind. But anyway, I mean, I don't like either. I'm not even feeling stunned. But I'm just saying, like, you have this opportunity to set yourself up. You don't even need Section 8 after a certain point in time if you follow the steps, the program, or whatever.
Yeah.
And yet, when your grandmama or your auntie or whoever passed away, now you're at the church with the fish fries. Like, hey, everybody, $10, $20 plate, so we can get this paid for.
I guess I'm just disrespectful because, like, being a licensed life insurance agent, my condolences is all I have to give. I'm not buying the fish fry. I offered you this opportunity, and you passed it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what? Term, whole life, IULs, whatever it is, there's policies out there that can cover the funeral expenses. Let's just even that for $50 a month.
Yeah.
$20, $30, $100, $200, whatever. If you can get the next J's that's dropping, if you can get your hair and nails did, if you can get all that, then you can pay $20, $50, $100 a month.
Prioritize, yeah.
I don't know. It blows my mind.
Over and over again. Like, I'm so many times helped me pay for my grandmother's funeral, help us pay for the headstone. I'm not buying a t-shirt to support it. And like, I'm not kidding. Like, no, my condolences, and I am praying for your family, and I hope that you are able to grieve. But we have to start doing stuff because this stuff that we have passed down generation after generation, like these generational curses. These generational curses, like, somebody has to break them. The cycle has to end because, like we were saying on the Hidden episode, like, it leads you into a place where if we're raising money, then I'm working even harder. I don't have time to truly grieve whoever passed away. And now I've got to go back to my real job that gave me 3 days off for a family member passing away. And I have to pretend that I'm okay and pull myself together when in reality, if you did have life insurance, everything's covered. You can tell your job, keep me or leave me. I've got enough to cover me. I'm about to grieve. And I'm about to pull myself back together. And then from that point, I'll be worried about job. But y'all can FMLA me.
So, and the thing is, it's like, even if people don't have insurance, they'll tell the job to be like, screw this job. I don't need this job.
Exactly.
Y'all ain't going to let me out for my, families, this and that. And it's kind of like, I'm not knocking people that quit or whatever that. But at the end of the day, you had the opportunity, right? Like, you have the opportunity to change that to where that doesn't even have to happen. Like, you don't have to quit your job because they're not letting you out.
Exactly.
At least you have the opportunity to say, look, I've set this money aside through insurance. I've set this money aside through investments, whatever the case is. And hey, if you want to, if I leave, if I'm not there anymore and you want to fire me, cool, whatever. Versus
that's on you.
I'm quitting regardless because y'all ain't giving me. Well, you ain't got no money now for nothing. You ain't even got no money to pay for the funeral.
You raising money for the GoFundMe and you're not even contributing to it. All you done is creating.
Like, this GoFundMe, y'all.
It's I don't know. It's absolutely extreme. So one of the things that's real important for people to know too is that you have an opportunity to get long-term care for your parents without getting them life insurance and all those things. Like a lot of them come with like a burial plan where it'll at least cover the cost of the funeral, but it doesn't truly pay out. But what it does is, even like as soon as they lose 2 of their daily functions, right? Like they can no longer feed themselves, or they can no longer walk, they can no longer dress themselves, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Like as long as there's 2 things that they can't do, this thing will start paying out monthly to allow them to have like long-term care. And so now you're not having to leave work, pick up extra shifts, do all these things. Like I don't think.
So how quick does that kick in?
Immediately, like as soon as you report it.
So
it's
let's
just
just
like
say
an insurance claim.
So like you get a policy on September 5th, and you want the long-term care, whatever it is. You start paying on it that month, and then something happens in October.
You have long-term care, and they're paying out crazy, like $3,800 a month, $4,500 a month. You can get them if you're paying into it over $100 or over $200 a month. You're getting something crazy like $5,000 or $6,000 a month to help with care and groceries and all of these things that they need. Caregiver to come in the house, like all this additional support to allow you to actually enjoy the time that you have with them before they leave, rather than it just being a hassle and it being a stressor, and then it taking you an additional 3 to 5 years after they passed away to truly start grieving. And then like we don't really go to therapy the way we need to. We need to go to therapy. Like there's so much to just be like tucked away and passing down and stuff that frustrates us. Like no joke, I can still see certain stuff still bothers my mom. Like it shouldn't be there anymore. Like it should have worked itself out by now.
But
do you think I like when my mother said this? And I'm like, that sounds like some therapy stuff. Like, and I just keep it in my head, but I'm like.
But in our community, almost shifting gears, therapy isn't a good thing. Like it's almost frowned upon. Like, oh, you can't handle your own your own business. Like you can't handle your own.
It's a no for me, boss. So I'm going to get some help. Thank you, Karen. Thank you,
tell me this.
I don't care who it is.
Does the insurance cover like therapy or like mental health issues or anything? Can you get that built in?
So a lot of what I've seen is not included in that, but there are like certain things for if you're a caregiver and you end up caring for that parent. They do have a lot of like caregiver therapy and stuff like that is included.
I don't know. I've always struggled with therapy, just because I always feel like, again, like it's something that I can beat. Like I'm not going to give my real feelings, or I'll give what people want me to say, like what the therapist. So Corey, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. In
my mind, I'm like, how do you want me to feel about this? Like you want me to say it because
they don't win. They can't win. Like no matter what happens when you go in therapy, like the only person who can lose is you. The only person who can win is you. It's literally a me versus me situation. Like for you to really just trump yourself. And a lot of times because we keep so much stuff in, and because me, I'm the type of person like I don't even like to tell people what I'm dealing with until I'm done dealing with it. But therapy is that little outlet. Like I told somebody, but nobody knows.
Why is it so frowned? Because I look at it like. Why can't you handle?
I feel like alcoholics feel that way too. Like I just drink. Why can't you handle it? Deal with your problem your way. Like it's the same thing. Like it's still a vice. Like but it gives you a solution that's healthier, that helps you build, and it gives you tools to be able to see things in yourself. So there's certain things that I do now, and I will always go back to. What is the thing that drove me to this in the first place? Oh, okay, I have a passion for helping people. Do I still get to help people? Yes. So how do I focus on that when I get into this situation and remove all the hate I have for this one small thing? And the one thing that she used to always say is, so if you pan out and you focus on what you really like, and now like in my head, like when I'm really focusing on dialed in on something that's like miserable, I'm like pan out. Like what else is going on? Because I'm so focused on this thing that's going wrong. Pan out and like look at the big picture and really see like what's actually happening. What can I control? What's out of my control? And just asking myself those questions. And all of that is going on in here, and it helps so much because like I don't walk around like cussing people out. Like I don't drive around like flipping people off. Like all those things, and I'm like, that person cut me off, and I'm like, they might be late for work.
Nah.
I know.
I'll feel like I'll be in that chair, and the therapist will say something like, "Just pan out, Corey." And in my mind, I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? Pan out?" Like, I feel like I'll be clowning him in my mind, but I'll say like, "Yeah, I need to pan out." But I'll go home clowning myself and just like what?
So the thing with the therapist, right? Like they're just gonna push. They're just gonna push you like, oh, okay, I'll pan out. They're like, so when you pan out, what do you see?
I don't really
it's
care
less
about
stressful if I pan out. And you're like, you're not going to beat them because here's the thing, they're just gonna keep pushing. Okay, so tell me what you see. If you were to pan out in that situation, what are you seeing?
Nothing, because I really don't want to pan out. I don't care about panning out. Can we talk about something else?
Yeah, I've noticed there's a little bit of anger there. Can you tell me where that's coming from?
Yeah.
Like, what are you feeling right now?
Sure, I can tell you. And then I'll start talking about stuff that, even though, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's still a battle within me to figure out therapy. Like, and of course, I think everybody has
black men
stuff.
would do therapy in groups. Because a lot of times, I think that black men don't want to do therapy because I don't want to be the weakling that's going through this one thing and thinking this one way.
Come on.
But if black men did it in a group and be like, hold up.
Because
you doing that too?
That's not a bad idea. And I'm going to tell you what, like you are on, hey, now you are on to something. Because look, no,
how can we turn this into money?
No, I'm saying, so listen, if as a black man, whether you were raised, because I mean, I was raised in South Dallas at a young age, like a lot of black men get raised in environments that you have to, like you feel like you have to be tough, or you have to be this, or you have to be that, or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, if you feel like other people or other black men aren't looking at you like, oh man, he's not tough. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like if you can feel like, man, I don't have to be tough in front of this group because they're going through some of the same things as me, then it makes that wall come down. Like when you even said, man, I think black men need to do therapy in groups. Yes. Something in me was like, yeah.
Because if you're alone, you're like, what's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. I think women, it's different because you've always been looked at like, what's wrong with you? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, women have issues with infertility and they be like, what's wrong with them? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they've been blamed for everything. It's like, I don't care. I'm going to therapy. You're going to say what's wrong with me, whether I have the kids or not. So if I choose not to have them, I can't have them, they're still going to say it. Right. But men are like, hold up. If it's just me, then there's got to be something wrong with me. But if you were to see a group of men who were healthy and thriving, but were also getting better, do you know what that would do to the black community?
As you're talking, I'm just like, man, because I think women naturally have that. I'm going to go to another woman and I'm going to try to talk this out. Like, can I figure this out? Like, do you have this problem or whatever? Exactly. And I think black men do that too, but only to like this extent of I can't show you how weak I am. If I show you too much, then now I'm weak in front of you. Now I'm just, another Negro type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so to me, if black men do that in groups, it's more like, oh man, you have that same issue. You have the same. And I see it sometimes on social media, like, man, somebody will post something about, black males and this about, and you'll see all these comments, from black men, like, man, I feel the same way.
I love seeing them too. I think his name is Jason Wilson, the guy who does the taekwondo with the young boys and all that.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He be putting his feelings out there, and I'm telling you, he'll get 50,000 comments.
You know what I'm saying?
Easy. And like people be feeling, I'm like, so you're not alone. So you're not alone. And the one thing that I'm so grateful for when it comes to social media is that it has really given black men a platform to voice their opinion. And as soon as they let a little bit of vulnerability out, and other people are like, oh yes, me too. Like it's been a true like Me Too movement.
I thought you was going to go another way with that, because that's another piece as to why black men do not express their feelings, right? Like they don't do therapy
because you're also putting a target on you.
Like, and I'm not just. I just feel like people are going to comment, or black females are going to comment in a way that, and I'm not saying it's just black females, but at the end of the day, I see it a lot. Like when black males post something on social media, like black females will get on there, and there's some that will be like, man, this is good, this is great. Of course, they'll build them up, but then you got some that just come in like, oh, you need to.
The comments that you're seeing from the women that are healthy comments, they have relationships either with therapists or they have a community of people that they speak with, and they have healthy thoughts.
And they also have less likes too, though.
Yeah, they do. But they know healthy talk when it comes out of a mouth. But if you're a toxic person and you're also holding a whole bunch of aggression, when somebody says something that makes them vulnerable, you just attack because that's what you know. But you also don't have any healthy habits in yourself. So those women who are putting those positive comments on there, because I'm telling you, when I see them and they're like, that ain't no, you ain't no, and I'm like, boy, how ill do you have to be to not see that this person is in like true?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what a pull a black man, and really any man, but I'm just speaking in particular, like black men will pull you back and be like, I ain't finna say nothing, because there are times where I've heard from my friends, black males, they're like, man, she used that against me the other day. Oh, you remember when you said da da da? And it's just kind of like you
drop that dusty.
I'm just saying, and it turns into you know
She's
what?
Not healthy.
I'm definitely not gonna say nothing else anymore because if I say something, it's just gonna be ammo for later on. It's just gonna be ammo for another time when I mess up or when I slip up or whatever the case is. But then you are on to something.
But then and so in the same way that men need to go to therapy in groups, couples have to do therapy together. Because there's no way.
Are we in church? Like, what's going on here? Like, get out of here with all that.
There's no way for her to truly know until you really communicate in an area where, like, they're not taking sides. And it's so funny whenever you see, like, couples therapy and stuff like that, like on TV, they always show like when the therapist takes a side and the other person flips out. Like they are so neutral and they barely even get to say a word.
And it's just a couple going
and
back
you
and
just
forth,
and you're just really communicating, and you come out of that like, oh, thank you so much, and they be like, I don't even have nothing written down. I've been sitting here, y'all will talk to yourselves.
My little tablet's got nothing.
I have facilitated a spare room. Thank you for writing it out for the hour and move on, because it's so healthy just to know that you're going into a space where you've chosen to be respectful to the other people in that area. And I think that's why the black men doing group therapy helps, because like all of us are here because we've made a decision. We're not weak, but we're going to encourage some healthy habits within ourselves, how we communicate, how we work, how we raise our kids. Like we've just decided we're just on the same page. Basically, invest with therapy.
I'm telling you, man, when you brought that up, it just kind of made me perk up. Like
I could do that. You're not gonna put me in a room with somebody because I'm gonna win. But if you put me in a group,
well, then we can talk, because I feel like it's just one of those things. Like when somebody says something like, I didn't want to say it because this and that. But man, like those are the blocks. Man, this is a little therapy right here going on. Like it's just that's crazy. So, we had a little young man come on through. But yeah, so it's just for you to say that it makes me almost like, I don't want to say hopeful. Like it just makes me like, man, there is something out there. For the black male to be a part of when it comes to therapy. And I'm not saying you don't need to go to therapy by yourself. I'm just saying I don't know, that just makes me feel like, I want to do that. I'll do that.
Can you imagine what prison would look like if black men were healthy and whole?
I don't know. I still feel like people still try to get in. That's free labor. That's a whole nother subject. It's a whole nother. They need.
When I realized it was a business, I was like,
right, private.
Oh, okay.
You talking about investments? Like you talking about private prisons? It's like, oh no, we gonna figure out a way to get these black males in.
But like, think about black families if men are healthy.
Man. You walking up and down the street, and that is the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And I seriously, because I think it just does something to the black male. To know I'm not going to be looked at as the only one who has this issue, or the weak one, or the weak link in the chain. But if there's a group of black males who like, yo, I feel you on that, because I went through that 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And here's how I got through it. I'm not saying you're going to get through it the same way, but here's some of the things that I went through and how it helped me out. And to be in that group, I guess in any group setting for anybody, for anything is good. But for black males in particular, because we have to be the strong ones of our families. Like I know it's portrayed as, oh man, the black woman has to be the strong, and that's because
I am not her. I know there was an application out a couple years ago. I'm not sure if it was Susan B. Anthony, whom I don't know who it was who was like the strong black woman. Cut me out of higher education. I'll read a book. Cut me out of all of that stuff. Put me
in that soft era.
I was
gonna say, what's the woman thing that a lot of women say, that soft era?
I'm there. I'm no longer applying for any roles that require me to be a strong black woman.
Man.
Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of pride in being smart and determined and driven, but I can be all those things and be soft and respectful and submissive. And I know, like, submissive was a bad word a couple years ago. It was a cuss word. Like,
it's a cuss word now.
Not me.
It's a cuss word now. I see women speak on social media about being submissive, and there will be other females, and I'm talking about black females, that will come on there and be like, ain't nobody doing all that, and they don't.
That's because they've been with weak men, but a good strong man. Let me tell you something. A woman gets submissive real quick.
They be like, submissive.
And I don't think people understand even truly being like submissive. Like it doesn't mean that you're a housemaid. Like that has nothing to do with being submissive. That's the first thought that people it comes into people's minds. When I hear people do all that negative stuff, especially like if I see something like pop up on a particular post and I see a lot of hate come across it, I just feel sorry for those people. Like I really do, because like I've been through so much. And like being the youngest in my family and being like relied upon so much, like a lot of that I carried, a lot of that weight, like I wouldn't stop things that I didn't enjoy because I needed to finish them, because I felt like I needed to be a role model for my family. But as the youngest, like it throws you out of whack. And so all of the therapy and all the stuff that I've gone through and all the growth and even like grow groups with my church, like watching other women do things, like a lot of that stuff has made me more feminine, because I was truly a tomboy growing up, like truly a tomboy, like a lot of that. And I know I'm still like a guy's girl, like I still have mostly male friends, but it's changed me so much. Like I don't have that need to be in control at all, like by any means.
Like you don't mind doing the cooking, or just give me all the labels. I'll take them. I don't
all
need
of those things that we you be who you need to be. And me, I'll be in the passenger seat with Starbucks at Target all day, picking out pillows. Whatever you need me to do, I'm that girl.
You gotta be submissive.
That is no longer a curse word in my book. It used to be a terrible thing, and I used to feel some type of way about it. I did, and that's the thing. Like I used to hear that word and be like, you see that trash that's running right there? You want me to be submissive to that? Oh, heck no.
And that's what I'm talking about. And the next rebuttal that always comes up from females is, well, is he a great leader and da-da-da-da-da? And I get it. Like, there's this, you got trash men, you got trash women, right? And so there has to be this balance and this recognition of seeing a great leader, but also in a male, in a black male, but also that black male seeing a great woman being able to, because submission to me it's not a light thing. Like, it's not a light thing. It's like, yo, you gotta
that's a responsibility,
right? Like that's a huge thing.
Absolutely.
And so to me, as far as the female or the word submission and a woman seeing it as a bad thing is only or I don't say only because I'm speaking from a black male perspective. I just feel like it's like society gave it a different meaning than what it really is. Absolutely. And because of that, now it's almost like not submit.
Not the yes word. I'll be kind to you, but like submit.
Switch the words.
I mean, we can decide together. You know. Absolutely not. Like, and I remember even saying, like, one thing I'm not finna do is, have my money messed up. No, I'm gonna be praying for that man. God, this is what I need you to do with him. He got to know his finances. He got to know him up, down, left, right. God, when you give this man 7 talents, he got to come back with 14, Lord God. I pray differently because I don't want to handle the money. I have done nothing, not just for me, for Andrew, for my family, for my friends. I'm who they go to for financial advice. I know I'm retiring from financial advice when I find a position in submission.
Strong black woman.
I am.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for opportunities to submit. Mm-hmm. I'm going through resumes at this time. Like, I'm looking for opportunities.
Check the DMs. Get in the DMs,
I am looking for opportunities. People don't understand like what a joy it would be.
And I feel like black women are looking for that too. Like, I don't feel like it's a majority of the black women like, I ain't submitting. I feel like there are black women out there that are looking for that.
And we used to joke about, girl, I don't know, I might have to skip over that vow. Like, it used to be a joke.
Pastor would have said, can you repeat? Just move on to the next vow. Like,
it used to be something that we joked about. And, like, that's why I know, like, it comes from such an unhealthy place. Like, personally, like, me disliking the word. But then also, if you look into, like, really submitting and you look at how God wants you to submit to your husband the same way that your husband submits to him. Like, how does he want us to submit to him? In a role where we're feeling inferior? No. He said that we're going to do greater works than he did. So when you submit to me, it's not because I need to make you small. It's because I'm going to make you great.
That's what people hear. Like, that's what women hear. Submit small. But like you said, it's to make you great, but to make the family great. Like, how much better is it to be on the same page with your husband, be on the same page with your wife, relational with the kids and finances, like to be on, like, I mean, I don't know the statistics, I ain't gonna, but I always hear the top 3 things that, you know, people, you know, divorce is, you know, money, has to do with money, has to do with like, infidelity, has to do with kids, like just those things. To me, how much better would it be for the brother to be able to go to therapy with other brothers, come home and like, yo, let's make this thing happen better. And that woman also, that black woman also, like, yeah, okay, I can submit without it being like, I guess I can, you know,
And don't get me wrong, there are requirements for submission.
Oh, definitely, but on both sides for leadership, right? Yeah, don't just go out there submitting to just anybody and it's like,
y'all said to submit.
Y'all said to submit. He done used up my credit cards.
He was broke. Why would you start there?
I get that. Like, seriously, like, there is definitely requirements on the black male and as well as the black woman also.
Definitely. Like you said, it's going to be healthy. It's going to take stuff from both sides. But a lot of that stuff, like, we've got to work through. And even if it's not a formal therapy session, like your pastors, your people who you respect, people whose relationships are modeling what you would like to have, like that you can have. And I look at people who have parenting skills that parent the way I want to parent. Like, I want to parent from a place of, like, the pastor was talking about today, like, you want your kids to want to come back home. Like, you don't want to be like begging them to come back and see you. You want them to enjoy, you know, your company so much, and they're like, oh, well, you know, you don't want to be your kid's friend. But at the same time, he was talking about what you're supposed to be doing in between each year. Like 0 to 5 is, you know, like the training, and then like 6 to 12 is this, and then the teens are this. Like, being a friend starts at 19, so that they're coming to you because you've already built on that relationship. They understand you trained and all those things. But if you wait until the teen years to start training and teaching and coaching,
then it's like, nah, my child,
I can't wait till I get up out your house. I ain't never coming back. And it's because we missed it when we were supposed to be doing it before. We missed it. And I'm like, for me, like, I love being around Andrew. I want him to want to come back. So I've got to find people whose parenting models what I want and sit around those people. Like his godparents, for example, like, that's a family that, like, enjoys their children. And so I watch them. I don't know if they know, but I watch them and, like, how they interact with their kids and how they spend time with their kids. And I model myself after that because that's what I want. So it don't have to be formal therapy, but there has to be a way, an outlet, a model for you to example after.
I think
for you to really grow.
It just, I mean, I'm not knocking therapy, and I think for me, because I grew up without my dad in the household, he'd be here and there, and, you know, that kind of thing. And I always wondered, like, what am I going to be like to my son? How do I carry over these, how you need to do, you know, just these bad habits and whatnot. And looking at my son now, and I'll catch myself on certain things that I do, like, man, I didn't like that growing up, so I don't need, and I'll go apologize or whatever, but at the end of the day,
you apologize to your son?
I do. Like we have sit downs. Like each
that
week.
Is so huge.
I'm just saying, each week I'll come in. I'm like, all right, like my daughter will be here, my son will be here. I'm like,
looking at you.
What didn't y'all like about this week?
Yeah.
And then they'll talk about I didn't like not being able to go outside.
Yeah.
Or this and that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so what didn't you like about what mommy did this week, or what you didn't like about that? And then they'll express like certain things, and it's funny. Like if you do that with your kids, you'll be surprised at what they pay attention to. Like I didn't like how you yelled at me for not picking up my toy when I was playing with my toy there. Like just the way that they explain stuff and giving them that opportunity to voice you know, how they feel.
Yes.
For me growing up, it's just like,
so
suck it up.
here's the thing, like, it was suck it up. Your mom said pick it up, so pick it up.
That's it.
But like your kids are going to come into relationships, and not even like romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, knowing how to communicate because you're doing that. And so when they're in a partnership, hey, I don't like when you make decisions on my behalf, especially when you think it's stuff that I'm not going to agree with and you just do it for me. Like, they're going to be able to communicate that thing instead of going off, fighting, getting arrested, and calling you to bail them out.
Don't get into it. Like, I still have my moments where I'm like,
oh,
okay, so you pick that up? You ain't listening?
Oh, absolutely.
We finna have to do something about that. But at the same time, I'm aware of that. And so I know how to, or I'm learning how to dial it back, or knowing when, okay, there has to be some tough love in here. There has to be some kind of correction in here that versus just raising weak men and weak women.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? There still has to be a balance in between. Okay, I'm going to show you some tough love, but at the same time, I'm going to love on you because you're my baby type of thing. And it helps in that manner as far as just my therapy of not doing what I was raised on in certain areas, but also saying, okay, in these areas where I didn't like how, you know, my mom said this, or how my dad wasn't around, or this and this, and so how can I change that with my kids? And so I'm not knocking therapy. I think it's an excellent thing, especially for families. Because it's gonna raise the level of what your kids can be later on. It's gonna raise the level of you and your wife as far as, you know, financial, relational, emotional, all those things. Like I know what it can do. I just need some brothers in the circle.
I'm not doing this by myself. We're gonna do this in group. And I bet you could come up with your own circle of,
man,
you know what?
I might have to try that out.
You might have to add that to the cabinet.
I
could bring somebody in because I know a couple.
See,
I can bring it.
That,
we're gonna have to write that down.
I'm down with that. Like we can end it on that, but I'm saying, like, man, my black brothers, like, hey, if y'all want to get together, you know, do something like this is the Batman car. This is the cap from what's
the Brawl,
the whole Alabama Brawl. I'm sending it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's meet up because I really do feel, and even in sports, without prolonging, you know, this whole thing, it's just. I find it that it's easier for black males to talk in sports. Like I've been raised in sports all my life, and it's easy for us to talk during that time because there's some kind of male understanding, male bonding, male things of that nature. So
can I say something though?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I know.
Her stop.
So there are teams that we've been on that when I've had him play football, and you can tell when the coaches have also been raised in unhealthy environments because they don't know how to communicate and nothing is ever their fault. And they will say things and you will hear them like, you know, tell the kids to do one thing and then tell them to do something else. And they're like, but you told me to do this. Go run to the fence. No, I didn't. And it's like, excuse me, sir. You did tell that young man.
I've actually got it on camera because I was recording my son doing this.
And I know, like, they be hyped up in the moment, but at the same time, like, a lot of times men don't understand it. You show strength when you're not loud, when you're not yelling.
Man, see, you want to keep this podcast. We already over an hour.
I know.
Like, oh, man.
But, like, kids, in that moment, like, so I know for sure, 100%, if you start yelling at my nephew, he turns off, right? Like if you're like, why would you? Boom, 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 boom. I can't wait till this. I can't wait till she's done talking. Like he's done. He's not listening to anything else.
Yeah.
But you got to let him walk off and come back and be like, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you to do this, I can't have you talking because it takes too long for us to get from point A to point B to get this done. When I'm telling you this, if it's something that you disagree with, something that you need help with, I need you to finish the task and come talk to me about it when y'all are on your water break. He's good. Water break.
I got it. Hey, I remember what he said.
You know, when you were saying this person keep running over to my side, and that's what's really tripping me up.
Yeah.
And he don't know how to voice that when you're yelling at him. If you're yelling at him and he's trying to voice it, he's just gonna yell back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Get off my field. He's not on the team. But you just have to know, and I feel like he's been on teams where the coaches have been so broken. They don't know how to talk to the young men. They don't know how to really coach them up. And what they do is end up picking favorites. And they're choosing kids who are just submissive. And not submissive in the right way. They're choosing the kids who don't talk back because they're just grateful to have that person there. But there are kids who are requiring more.
Yeah.
And they have to be able to play that part as well. And I see that in so many different levels. Like where we're at in Taekwondo now, like this guy is picking up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
When the kids are afraid of him yelling, he'll speak to that specific kid very softly. But the other ones, stop talking.
In the therapy circle.
And like, right? And he's like, no. And he'll tell them like he can yell at Andrew when he's like, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, sir. Like he's fine. But some of those other kids that come in a lot softer, and they're like, he's like, no, sir, and they're like, they're scared, and he's like, listen to me, sit down, sit with your hands, say no, sir. They're like, no, sir, and then he moves on, and like. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, you can tell, like, in that moment, he's able to adjust to what that kid needs, and it's healthy coaching. And so we've got to get men who are coaches in that as well.
Because you got to get them in the therapy circle. I'm telling you right now, it's the black therapy circle. It's coming. I'm telling you right now. End it on this. What is something this week that you want to be able to work on overall that will prepare you into next week of doing something great? Like just something that you'll be able to focus on.
One, I'm reading every night. I'm going to continue reading every night. Make sure I'm growing. I'm pushing myself, like my mind. I'm challenging myself on that level. And then I need to take the next step in real estate on my next investment. Like I've got to.
I don't want to say what is it because
I'm not gonna.
We'll wait.
I'm the type of person that talks about it after the fact anyway. Because people will speak against you, so I'll talk about it after the fact. But I need to take that next step on a few things. The 3 things that I have going on. So
I need to build small habits on the things that I already have going, and I need to make them a consistent thing. And I'm like my clothing business, like just it just has to be consistent. I can't wake up one day, be on fire, and then tomorrow I'm like I don't want to do this because I got other stuff that I got to do. Like, I just want to be consistent in the small things this week, on the small things I need to do. Admin is one of those things that I just hate. Like I hate doing admin stuff. Creative stuff I'm down for. But all the admin I'm like but creating those habits. I'm Uncle Rob, I'm listening to you. Listening to you.
Right.
Creating those habits, the good habits, and making them consistent and being disciplined in them. So
we got a lot of work to do this week.
A lot of work to do.
I hate the
Y'all got a lot of work
consistency because it's like a shadow over my head, like a cloud.
Okay, so I've got to actually do what I said I was going to do.
I promise you I don't be wanting to get out of my bed, but I'm pushing myself, and it's uncomfortable, and I'm glad. I know when I'm uncomfortable, I'm pushing myself, so I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Cool.